The exit should be planned into the business plan of any startup and strategy as of day one. You need to get all of the stakeholders aligned on what sort of an exit the company is seeking, when that exit should happen, and also have some sort of an idea of the path to that exit. So why is that exit such an important element of the whole business plan? It's primarily for two reasons. First, financially. Of course, investors will want to see a return on their investment, so they will not come and invest in a startup if they do not see a clear path to making some money, ideally, so that they can reinvest in other companies. The other reason is definitely more strategic. It's that an exit could be the best outcome and even the mandatory outcome for some startups, especially, for example, technology startups that we were at LabOptics. When you will have excellent technology, but you will lack the capabilities of taking that technology into the market. So the industrialization part will require a lot of investment, funding, and if that was to be done all alone, that would require taking risks that may not be acceptable to the investors. So the strategic outcome in such a case would be to sell early or early-ish to a large company that then can bring in know-how, funding, global market reach, etc., for the eventual success or the total success of the project. So one thing that is extremely important when defining the exit strategy is to be able to understand what sort of industries, what sort of customers would potentially be interested in your technology. So you need to map out the industries, the partners, look at the ecosystems. You need to engage with a lot of big companies early on in the process so that you can actually understand their needs. You can talk to them, you can develop for them, you can do work for them that will help you understand and define the strategic value that you will want to create for them. You need to continue all along by focusing on that strategic value and investing in that strategic value and nothing else. Be very careful about not stepping away from that chosen strategic path towards the exit by staying focused. You need to invest very carefully in anything that will help improve that strategic value in the eyes of your potential buyers. We hired only the top-notch engineers, knowing that a potential acquirer would also acquire the competencies, not only the assets. We kept our options open by working with at least 10 companies in different industries and with different application areas. We decided that it was important to keep those options open because it was not yet at that point very clear from where the exit would come. In other words, what would be the ultimate application, who would be the buyer, etc. It is of course essential to be able to time the exit right. In other words, you need to reach a point where the maturity and the attractiveness of your technology is at its peak, whilst the risks of going forward alone are still contained and not too large. We made sure that we had the best possible advisory team, including then of course the lawyers and the bankers on our side. It is an investment that will pay off at the end. Basically, we had 3 different types of lawyers, one here in Switzerland, one in the US, and then also a tax lawyer on our side. We also used an investment bank. But even more importantly, I think we had an internal advisory team, which consisted of some of the management of the team and board members, and also 1 or 2 external advisors. So we had quite a complete setup of advisors on the whole project from day one. Early enough, could be even years before the exit, you must try and prepare for your house to be in much as order as possible. I mean by that specifically everything to do with contracts and agreements, but also intellectual property. Because when it gets really tough, and when the exit process begins and there is due diligence, there's no more time, and there's little time to start organizing and sorting out problems. So it is extremely important to ensure already at a very early stage that all of the agreements are rock solid and that they are adequate for a buyer. Starting an exit process, one should never do that without ensuring that there is enough cash, a lot of cash reserves to survive the exit process for whatever reason may stop or be delayed. It may also be necessary in some negotiation situations to walk away from the deal to be able to increase the valuation. And in that case, you need to make sure that you have the reserves to survive, even if the buyer wouldn't come back and offer a better valuation.